They held your hand like you were their world, but loved you like you were temporary. How can someone love you deeply, and still act like they don't care if you stay or leave? I once knew a love that felt like poetry written in disappearing ink. They loved me, I never doubted that. I saw it in the way their eyes softened when I spoke, in how their voice changed when they said my name, in the quiet moments when their guard fell and their soul stepped closer to mine. Their love was real, raw, and trembling, like a candle fighting the wind. But caring was different. Because love is a feeling. Caring is a choice. They loved me in the way the ocean loves the shore, always returning, always drawn, always pulled back by something stronger than itself. They would come close, hold me tight, whisper promises into my hair, and then drift away as if closeness frightened them. Not because I was too much, but because intimacy was. You see, an avoidant heart is a heart trained by pain. Somewhere in their past, love meant loss. Trust meant hurt. Dependence meant abandonment. So they learned a dangerous survival rule: feel deeply, but never need anyone. And that's how they loved me. They loved me in silence. Loved me from a distance. Loved me without letting me feel safe inside that love. When I cried, they froze. When I needed reassurance, they withdrew. When I asked, "Do you care about me?" they answered with affection instead of presence. Because affection is easy, presence is vulnerable. They thought loving me was enough. But love without emotional availability feels like standing outside a locked house that has lights on inside. You can see the warmth. You can feel the promise. But you can't enter. And still, I stayed. Because their love was real. I saw it in stolen glances, in half-finished confessions, in the way they almost reached for me when they thought I wasn't looking. They loved me like someone guarding a treasure they were afraid to touch. Avoidants don't stop loving you. They stop showing it when it requires surrender. They don't withdraw because you're unworthy. They withdraw because closeness feels like losing control. So they love you, but they don't know how to care for you. And loving someone who can't care is like holding rain in your hands. You feel it, you swear it's there, but no matter how tightly you hold on, it slips away. Love and care are often spoken as if they are twins, as if they walk hand in hand through every relationship, as if one cannot exist without the other. But the truth is softer and sadder. Love is a feeling that can bloom in the wild, without permission, without preparation, without understanding. Care, on the other hand, is devotion in action. Love can live quietly inside the heart, while care must step outside and be seen, heard, and felt. An avoidant can love you with a depth that surprises even them, yet still fail to care for you in the ways your soul quietly begs for. They may think about you constantly, miss you when you are gone, replay your laughter in their mind, and feel warmth when your name appears on their phone. Their love is real in their chest, real in their thoughts, real in their private world. But when love demands presence, reassurance, or emotional risk, something inside them tightens like a locked door. They hesitate. They retreat. Not because the love vanished, but because caring requires vulnerability, and vulnerability feels like standing unarmed in the middle of a battlefield they once barely survived. To you, it feels confusing. They say they love you, and you believe them. You see truth in their eyes. You feel sincerity in their touch. Yet when you need comfort, they offer silence. When you seek closeness, they create space. When you open your heart, they guard theirs. You begin to wonder how someone can feel so much and still give so little. But inside them, love is a flame protected behind glass. They fear that if they open the glass, the wind of attachment will blow the flame out completely. So they keep loving you safely from a distance, convincing themselves that feeling love is the same as showing it, believing that their emotions alone should be enough proof, not realizing that love unexpressed can feel like love withheld, and love withheld can feel indistinguishable from absence. Avoidance is often mistaken for coldness, as if distance were proof of indifference, as if silence were evidence that the heart feels nothing. But avoidance is rarely born from lack of feeling. More often, it is born from memories that still ache quietly beneath the surface. An avoidant does not step back because they feel too little. They step back because at some point in their life, they felt too much and paid for it. Their heart learned its lessons not from peace, but from storms that arrived when they were unprepared, storms that taught them closeness can disappear without warning, that promises can fade, that warmth can turn into absence overnight. So when love begins again, even when it is gentle, even when it is sincere, their instincts do not celebrate. Their instincts scan for danger. They notice how deeply they are starting to care, and instead of leaning in, something inside whispers a warning. Not because you are threatening, not because your love is unsafe, but because their past convinced them that attachment is a risk disguised as comfort. The closer they feel to you, the louder that warning becomes, like an alarm only they can hear. You might see their distance and think they are losing interest, that their feelings are fading, that their heart is drifting away from yours. But inside them, it can feel like the opposite. The stronger their emotions grow, the more they feel the urge to pull back, as if love itself were gravity and they are afraid of falling too fast. They don't withdraw because they don't care. They withdraw because caring feels like stepping toward a cliff edge they once fell from. They may want to reach for your hand and yet keep their own folded. They may want to confess their fears but swallow the words. They may want to stay close but feel safer standing just far enough away that they can still run if their world begins to shake again. Closeness, to most hearts, feels like warmth. It feels like safety, like coming home after a long journey, like finally placing your armor down beside someone who promises they will not use your softness against you. But to an avoidant heart, closeness can feel unfamiliar, almost foreign, like stepping into a room where the air is too thin to breathe easily. They may crave intimacy in quiet moments, may imagine what it would feel like to be fully known, fully understood, fully held, yet when that closeness actually arrives, something deep within them tightens with quiet alarm. It is not that they do not want connection. They do. They often want it more than anyone realizes. But desire and comfort are not always the same thing. For them, intimacy can stir old echoes, whispers from memories they rarely speak about, reminding them of times when being open led to hurt, when trusting led to loss, when depending led to disappointment. So when you step closer emotionally, when you ask them to share more, feel more, reveal more, their nervous system reacts before their heart can explain. Their body remembers what their mind tries to forget. You might lean in, hoping they will lean too. Instead, they pause. Their smile softens, their words grow shorter, their presence becomes slightly distant, as if part of them has stepped out of the room while the rest remains beside you. It can feel confusing, even painful, because just moments ago they seemed so present, so loving, so there. Yet intimacy has a way of triggering their instinct to protect themselves, and protection, to them, often means retreat. They do not retreat because you are overwhelming. They retreat because closeness itself feels overwhelming, like standing too near a fire that once burned them. Even gentle affection can feel intense, even kind vulnerability can feel risky, even safe love can feel dangerous when their heart has learned to associate depth with the possibility of pain. They rarely say the words the way you wish they would. They don't always speak love in long confessions or dramatic promises, and they seldom pour their feelings into speeches that leave no doubt behind. Instead, their love appears in fragments, in gestures so small they can almost be missed if you are not looking closely. An avoidant often loves like a quiet artist, painting devotion in subtle strokes rather than bold colors, expressing emotion through actions that seem ordinary on the surface but carry hidden meaning beneath. They might not tell you they miss you, but they remember the smallest details about your day. They may never openly declare how much you matter, yet they fix things for you, solve problems before you even notice them, or show up exactly when you need help without being asked. They may struggle to say, "I care about you," but they listen when you speak, really listen, storing your words somewhere safe inside them as if your thoughts are fragile treasures. Their affection moves quietly, like a breeze that doesn't announce itself yet gently touches everything it passes. To you, it can feel like something is missing. You wait for reassurance, for emotional openness, for warmth spoken aloud, for love you can hear instead of love you must interpret. You might wonder why someone who feels so much says so little, why someone who stays close physically sometimes feels distant emotionally. But for them, gestures feel safer than declarations. Actions feel safer than vulnerability. Doing something kind allows them to express love without exposing the fragile center of their heart. So they show love in ways that don't require them to stand emotionally uncovered. A hand on your shoulder instead of a confession. A favor done quietly instead of a promise spoken boldly. A message checking if you got home safe instead of a paragraph about how much you mean to them. They communicate affection through presence that whispers rather than words that proclaim, through care that hides inside ordinary moments rather than feelings displayed openly for the world to see. Loving an avoidant can feel like standing at the edge of a locked garden, convinced that if you just prove how gentle your hands are, the gate will finally open. You begin to believe that if you love them patiently enough, softly enough, selflessly enough, they will slowly become less afraid, less distant, less guarded. Your heart starts to take on a quiet mission, one it never announced out loud but feels deeply responsible for, to heal them. Not because they asked you to, but because love naturally wants to soothe what it sees hurting. So you try harder, you become more understanding, more forgiving, more careful with your words. When they pull away, you don't chase angrily, you wait tenderly. When they go silent, you fill the space with reassurance. When they struggle to express emotion, you express enough for both of you. You tell yourself that your love is strong enough to teach them how to stay, how to trust, how to open. You convince yourself that if they feel safe long enough, they will finally lay their armor down at your feet. But healing is not something love can perform on someone else's behalf. Healing is a door that only opens from the inside, a quiet transformation that must be chosen, not received. You can offer warmth, patience, loyalty, and devotion, yet none of these can replace their own willingness to face what they fear. Your love can comfort them, but it cannot rewrite their past. It can support them, but it cannot dismantle the walls they built to survive. Those walls were not built in a day, and they do not fall just because someone gentle knocks. Still, your heart keeps trying, because loving them feels meaningful, almost sacred, like holding something fragile that you want to protect from every storm. You pour more of yourself into the connection, hoping that your consistency will become proof that you are different from everyone who hurt them before, hoping they will one day look at you and realize they no longer need to be afraid.